Please stand.
Please remain standing while we sing America the Beautiful. From sea to shining sea, oh, beautiful for heroes proved it never be seated. Members of the Maharishi School Board of Directors, including our chairman, Mr. Jim Davis, students and alumni, parents, faculty, friends, and special guests, including Bevan Morris, President Emeritus of MIU, and most importantly, the extraordinary students who will be graduating as the class of 2021. Everyone, welcome this evening. As you look around at the people gathered in this auditorium, as well as online, I hope you are savoring this moment, thankful for everyone and everything in your past that has brought you here, and excited about everything that lies ahead, for which you have been preparing every step of the way. You're going to notice that I'm speaking to the graduates, but everyone is welcome to find their place in these messages. I have heard plenty of people lamenting all that we have missed this year due to COVID, and who could blame them? In addition to the genuine hardships some have faced, simple pleasures like hanging out with friends, participating in activities and competitions in person, gathering with relatives and friends for celebrations. These are genuine losses, and it is completely valid to lament them. But I would like to invite you to take a very different perspective on this past year. I would prefer to emphasize the forces that have converged to bring each of you together at this point in time, at this place in the universe, precisely because this is what you were meant to experience. In this year of tremendous loss on a worldwide scale, you have to admit you have found yourselves in many respects safe in the eye of the storm, secure in this intentional community of shared values and practices that will serve you for the rest of your life. Some will tell you that life begins after you graduate from high school, after you move away from home or out of the watchful eye of a dorm parent, when you are free to make your own decisions and determine your own destiny. But if life begins now, then what has been the point of everything that you have been doing up until this moment? The answer is that there is only the now, and neither the past nor the future exists anywhere other than our minds and perhaps in our hearts. It is therefore absolutely essential that we are alert to every moment we are living, not merely intent on what we are doing, but on what we are becoming. Those of you who were here together in 9th grade may remember a conversation between Emily and the stage manager in the play Our Town by Thornton Wilder. You may recall that Emily has died young of childbirth, but that she's allowed to choose a day in her life to relive. She chooses her 12th birthday, but she can barely make it through breakfast. Not because it is too sad, but actually because each moment is so precious. And it doesn't seem like anyone is noticing. In agony, she cries out, "Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anybody to realize you." And she asks the stage manager if anyone actually realizes life while they live it. He replies, "No," but then adds thoughtfully, "The saints and poets, maybe, they do some." That is why we mark significant moments like this one with a ceremony and a celebration, to deliberately create a milestone, a rite of passage, to make sure that you take time to realize this moment. Appreciate this place, and especially these people who have shaped who you are and who you will become. In fact, we call this day a commencement because it marks both an ending and a beginning. You may also recall from last year the words of the Nobel Prize winning poet T.S. Eliot, Skylar, in his poem called Little Gidding. What we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from, and every phrase and sentence that is right, where every word is at home, taking its place to support the others, every phrase and every sentence is an end and a beginning. So how do we make sure that every phrase and sentence is right so that a good ending leads naturally to a good beginning? That is the challenge. And also the purpose of education, to help us make choices in the present, which will not determine the future as much as inform it and shape it for good. The values that we embrace as a school community and define in our mission statement are embodied in each one of you as creative, compassionate, and contributing citizens of the world who also think deeply and, most importantly, have cultivated the tools you need to transcend the present moment while remaining clearly present in it. Eckhart Tolle puts it this way in his book called A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. Don't let a mad world tell you that success is anything other than a successful present moment. He also says, living up to an image that you have of yourself or that other people have of you is inauthentic living. But how is anyone expected to get it right all the time? How are we expected to recognize the lie when we have experienced a little of truth, or to recognize inauthentic living when so much of life lies before us still? Even more important, when life is so uncertain, how do we know that what we grasp will support us and not burn us or wither in our touch? The answer is that there are no certainties, if by certainties we mean predictions that come true, but there are truths that transcend circumstances. What William Faulkner calls, in his Nobel Prize acceptance speech that we also studied last year, the old verities and truths of the heart, the old universal truths lacking which any story is ephemeral and doomed: love and honor and pity and pride and compassion and sacrifice. T.S. Eliot also gives us a clue about how we must live in a passage which I offer you today to engrave on your hearts and minds. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. So you must face life with the mind of an explorer, an adventurer, a pioneer, navigating according to your own deepest instincts, your God-given understanding of what is good and true and right, trusting ultimately in your own goodness and the goodness of others. Living authentically in the midst of uncertainty requires that we pay attention to each moment as if it is both our first and our last, with faith rather than fear, courage and compassion rather than cowardice, and the right mixture of discipline and daring. And then, as Eliot concludes his poem, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. At this point, I'd like to welcome and introduce Richard Bell, who I think needs no introduction. He would like to share some remarks with this class.
Thank you, Kay. Good evening, everyone. Before I introduce a very special guest graduation speaker tonight, I'd like to share some appreciation and some news. Phil Ben-Ezra has made significant contributions to our school as a social studies teacher and a colleague, and we'd like to take this opportunity to thank him for his service over these years. Well done. Thank you. Phil also introduced us to the Daraja Academy in Kenya, founded by his friend Jason Doherty. Two other teachers, Pradeep Aikar and Sean Dowdy, led an outdoor leadership project during our fourth quarter. And one of the many activities they did was a walk for Daraja to raise funds that would support girls' education at that Kenyan academy. More than 30 students participated in the 6K walk, and this was at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. They were here at 7 o'clock preparing food for the event. They raised over $1,300. Just today, I think, yeah, congratulations. Just today, I received from Phil, Mr. Doherty saw the video of the event, and he wrote, "I want to thank every single one of you at Maharishi School who took part in raising money for the scholarships that will change the life of girls on the other side of the world that you might never meet. I am so full of gratitude for the teachers, the generous administrators, and most of all, the students who participated. You helped us raise the most money we've ever had on one Race for Daraja day, worldwide over $90,000. That's almost enough to put 10 girls through 4 years of high school at Daraja." In your video, you made an excellent point. Often we're unaware of the gifts that we have. A Daraja student once asked me, "Is it true that students in the United States say Do I have to go to school? Most girls in Kenya would never say something like that. Thank you for your help. Thank you for understanding the value of girls' education. And thank you for putting sweat equity into changing the lives of 120 girls at the Daraja Academy. You changed the world through your efforts. Never forget that. I hope the feeling is contagious, and I also hope that Maharishi School participate in the 2022 Race for Daraja. Namaste. Kay mentioned our school mission statement. It's compact, yet it's comprehensive. To create an innovative, consciousness-based educational environment where students think deeply and become creative, compassionate, contributing citizens of the world. There are a lot of ways our alumni could and are fulfilling that mission in healthcare, journalism, education, military service, family life, visual and performing arts, and business, and so much more. But one area was of particular interest and focus at Maharishi School this spring, when we dedicated our weekly assemblies to the topic of climate change and in recognition of Earth Day. Fairfield is a resource-rich community, and we organized a series of speakers who informed and inspired our students with their work on both local and global environmental projects. Our students embraced their responsibility and actually started their own climate club. So it's with particular pride, pioneer pride, that we welcome John Deangelis tonight as our graduation speaker. In the past 10 years, John has risen to become a generational leader in sustainable business practice, and as such embodies those qualities we hope to see in our alumni. When Andrea and I returned to Maharishi School in 2008, John Deangelis was in his senior year. I asked the students some questions to get introduced, and John described his passion that day, I recall, for golf and business. I think in that order of priority, if I'm not mistaken. John graduated summa cum laude from Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with a major in sustainable business and a minor in communications. Grand Rapids happens to be the international headquarters of Steelcase Incorporated, a 108-year-old global leader in office furniture, interior architecture, and space solutions for offices, hospitals, and schools. They have a $2.6 billion sales just in the last fiscal year. John began working there while he was still in college in 2011 and created a global strategy for 167 million kilowatts of renewable energy. That's an ambitious plan. But he also was able to secure alignment among the executives to approve its implementation. After graduation from college, John climbed the corporate ladder at Steelcase, all the while adding to his credentials and to their sustainability strategies, first as senior analyst for global procurement, energy, and the environment, then as a leader of the energy program, as energy program manager for the global sustainability initiatives, and finally as the energy and special projects manager, where he led an initiative to coordinate the strategic choices that enable Steelcase to be more adaptable to the rapidly changing external environment. That may sound kind of simple, but here's a list of some of John's responsibilities to achieve those goals. Working on tax and trade policy, government procurement, currency valuation, energy and greenhouse gas management, select strategic projects, and multiple legislative and regulatory engagements. And that included the fact that John testified at the Michigan Senate and House of Representative committees to provide Steelcase's perspective on resource adequacy and electric competition within Michigan's changing energy landscape. For these and other contributions, he was honored as one of Green Biz's 2016 top 30 under 30 sustainability professionals. That deserves applause. Yeah. The next year, in 2017, John earned his MBA from the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University. And that was also the year he made a big move. from Michigan to California. He was hired by this company there. You might have heard of it. It's in Menlo Park. It's called Facebook. It's an energy manager there. And he has negotiated more than $1 billion worth of renewable energy projects supporting the Facebook data centers across the United States and in Singapore. He developed one of the first green tariffs in the United States that allows customers to procure renewable energy and energy storage. Just a word on their policy. Facebook, it's written, is committed to support their operations with 100% renewable energy from new wind and solar projects today and in the future, and reach net zero emissions across its value chain by 2030. They're supporting 55 new solar and wind projects across 18 states, generating thousands of jobs, and 82% of those jobs are in counties where the poverty rate is higher than the national average, giving people a chance for a well-paying job. Facebook will add over 5,000 megawatts of clean, renewable energy to the United States grid, along with the 3,000 megawatts they already provide. These projects represent $7.5 billion in infrastructure investment in the United States. So we are here to thank John for his leadership in that pioneering work and to welcome him back to Maharishi School. Mr. John Deangelis.
So when I was asked to give this address, I'll be honest, I wasn't so sure I wanted to do it. The last thing I wanted to do is give you all the same speech you've heard a million times before. You did it. You graduated high school and now you can do anything. I got that speech a bunch before, and I'll be honest, I rolled my eyes. The truth is, life is challenging. It's messy. But you all have the tools to thrive. But before I get into that, it's critically important that we take a moment and take this opportunity to celebrate your accomplishments, to appreciate the relationships that you all have created in your time here, and to reflect on the opportunities ahead. Each of you have taken a unique path to get here. Some of you are children of legacy parents or folks that are here local in Fairfield. Others of you are boarding with parents far away and across the world. Some have remote learned from other countries, and you and your families have made immense sacrifices to get to this point. I know my family, including my mom who's sitting over there, did the same when I went through this school and still does, helping to support the school. And the pandemic posed a unique challenge to each and every one of you, and you demonstrated grit, making it to tonight. You and your families should be very proud. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now for the road ahead. When you leave tonight, I want you to remember three things. 1, design your life. 2, embrace your critical thinking skills. And 3, enjoy the process. This is your life, so design it. When we think about it, design, many of us think about it linearly. In fact, when we give our how we got here stories, that's how we explain it. In fact, Dr. Bell told my linear path right before I got up here, right? Aquinas College undergrad, sustainable business. I got scholarships, mostly for academics, but a little bit for golf too. I met my wife there. Yep, she plays golf as well. I did an internship at Steelcase, worked on sustainability, progressed through energy and different roles at the company. I did my last 2 years, I did my MBA and worked at Steelcase in energy, progressing through the company. And then was recruited to join Facebook, where, as Dr. Bell said, we've achieved 100% renewable energy, and we're one of the 3 largest corporate purchasers of renewable energy in the world. I've done industry-leading stuff and been able to negotiate $1 billion in energy deals, and really helped others and other systems to be able to accelerate the transition to clean energy and helping customers save over $300 million along the way. But the truth is, those aren't straight lines. In fact, sometimes they're pretty frustrating. And as someone who loves goals and goal setting, yes, nerdy, I know, the winding road of the future can be extremely challenging. But here's my real story. I applied to over 12 schools coming out of high school. And partially due to getting in a little trouble here at MSAE, I only got into 2 of them. And the reason I actually applied to the school I went to was because of the Sustainable Business Program. It sounded pretty interesting and innovative at the time, and the application was free and I didn't have to write another essay. When I did my first internship at Steelcase, energy was actually only 10% of my job. And when my internship was over, the only reason I was able to stay on is that the person I was replacing, well, she came back from a leave of absence to Europe and took another position, and they needed someone to fill in. But in my time at Steelcase, I took lots of different opportunities and challenges. I did a business plan pitch to our CEO and executives that was supposed to focus on products, but I pitched them a bunch of energy efficiency projects instead. It was rejected, but they did fund the projects. And when I worked on energy legislation in Michigan, that Dr. Bell referenced, when I first got involved, I was initially told to back off. I wasn't supposed to be involved in government affairs, and I didn't have any place getting involved. And Facebook only found me at a customer appreciation event that I attended for a company that we weren't customers of. I just knew the guy who organized the event and he thought I'd be a good addition. At Facebook, we had these inspirational posters all over the place. And one of the posters that always speaks to me is, what would you do if you weren't afraid? You'd try it. You'd go after different things that come up and opportunities, and you'd see where it takes you. You all are going to have opportunities to reinvent yourself over and over again. Don't worry if your path branches, it loops. At times you feel like you're going backwards. But be intentional. Be on the lookout for opportunities to try new things. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how do I find all these new opportunities and new things? I'm actually reading a book called Designing Your Life, and they have a couple of tips. One, what are the things that make you energized? When after you do them, you're like, hell yeah, that was awesome. And what are the things that make you really engaged? That time can pass without you knowing. You can enter a state of flow. Those are the things that lead to the breakthroughs that you'll need, and in hindsight, they're the things that you'll reflect upon as if they were a linear path. Now, the second point to remember is to embrace your critical thinking. Now, I personally believe this is part of what sets us apart, those of us that have gone here to this school. There's many theories on why we have this critical thinking skill. Maybe it's the meditation or the small class sizes. Maybe it's applying SEI to absolutely everything. But all I know is you have it. Cherish and nurture this tool. Be curious, dig in, and apply new concepts to new topics. Ask the tough questions. Seek out the experts. Expose yourself to new areas. And understand how different concepts apply to one another. This will be one of the most significant differentiators for you all. This skill will set you apart as you become and enter a world that increasingly artificial intelligence and automation is playing a bigger role. Those of you that can demonstrate how to apply knowledge from a diverse areas, collaborate with people to design, problem solve, and innovate, and navigate a rapidly changing environment, those of you will be the leaders of the future. Now, for me, some think of me now as a preeminent energy nerd. The truth is, I have no formal training in energy markets. I don't have an electrical engineering degree, and I wasn't trained in renewable energy. I'm just very interested. I ask a ton of questions. I seek out the experts, and I try to apply that knowledge to the next areas. Now, one example I'll give you is when I first started getting engaged in government affairs and working on energy policy in Michigan. I realized as I got engaged that I only knew a really small slice of the electricity market. So I sought out the best experts that I could find, and I spent hours peppering them with questions. Then I worked with leaders in government affairs to help me learn how to distill complex knowledge into simple points that I could explain to legislators and policymakers as they were designing the future. Now, at the time, I thought that my desire to learn and get engaged was just helping me to do my job, best representing my company and other companies like us. But little did I know that the irrelevant details that I was immersing myself in would help me not only in my job interview with Facebook, but as I designed new and innovative structure in many markets around the world. I have a little secret for myself. If my pace of learning, if the amount I'm challenged or the context that I'm getting it's not fast enough, it's time to make a change. So challenge yourself. Really seek to understand new areas and how they're connected and apply to one another, and sharpen your critical thinking skills. And the last thing to remember, enjoy the process. As I mentioned, I'm pretty goal-oriented. Now, I used to measure those goals based on the tangible accomplishments at the end, the outcomes. And that would mean, did I get promoted? Did I get a raise? What were my ratings? But one year I hit a wall. I had a couple of projects fail. I had bad ratings, and I was at a loss for what to do. I'd always measured my success by the result. But the challenge with that is that the results are at the end of the process, and they're the part of the process that you don't control. The parts of the process, the vast majority of the time, is how you go about those activities, how you interact with others. And so I had to reframe. Now I'm still goal-oriented, but my goals are focused on the process and the people. How am I learning from others? How am I soliciting their input? Am I building genuine relationships and advocates? Am I broadening my network, asking what's on their mind? What are they concerned about? What do they think I should know? Reframing these goals and focusing on the process and the people enables you to have continuous opportunities to measure your success. Every single day, you can evaluate how well you're doing on the how of the process. And of course, when you focus on improving how you do the work and how you live your life, the results tend to follow. The content knowledge that you all learn is the foundation. It's important. But the people and the process by which you go about your life is where the real magic happens. Now, you all are going to have wildly different adventures throughout your lives. And no matter where those adventures take you, remember these three things. Be intentional about your choices and try things. Dig in and challenge yourselves to sharpen your critical thinking skills, and enjoy the ride. Thank you.
John, thank you. And good reminders. Design thinking, critical thinking, process thinking. Carry those with us. And also, thank you for mentioning your mother and her work here, because we cannot adequately thank our green goddess, Karen Deangelis, for the dedication that she's had to not only our courtyard and our greenhouse and our new chicken coop and all the rest in that area and the kitchen, but also the greens everywhere. So what a wonderful job again to do. Bravo. And I also see Brother John, or Paul rather, next there. And so I really would love to welcome back all the alumni that are here tonight. It's so great to see you back here. That fills our hearts having you here. So alumni, welcome. Thank you for coming back. Also would like to introduce the stage just briefly. This is Jason Walls. Jason has taught English to the upper school and is also our college counselor. Jason also is concluding his service and going on to graduate school. And what an amazing job he's done. You heard last night from our students their appreciation for him and helping guide them to their college of their choice and all. So can we all please thank Jason for his service? And we're grateful to have Jim Davis with us this evening, representing our board of directors, I'll say it. Jim is the chair of our board of directors, a longtime member, very generous contributor to Maharishi School for so many decades. His daughter Eugenia is a graduate. So Jim and Diana, thank you for all of your service to our school, and especially as a board chair. Thank you, Jim. So one of the other traditions that we've had here at our school from class to class is that they would bestow a gift on the school. And so I would like to introduce our two vice presidents of student council, Matthew Park and Skylar Halley, to do those honors now. If they would please.
Guess I don't need this up here. So this year we had 2 vice presidents because 2 is better than 1. And our class is very happy to be gifting a rather casual gift to our school in the form of beanbags for the Student Center. Yay. Very wonderful. I'm sure the students will love them. It's about time that we need better seating around there. We're tired of sitting in those firm chairs, and beanbags are the way to go. So yeah, thank you.
At this point in our program, I would like to recognize the 2 students who have achieved the highest grade point averages, cumulative, and they have been named valedictorian, Shristi Sharma, and salutatorian, Jocasta Tran. Congratulations. It was tight this year. We had a number of contenders and we had to wait till the last minute, and it got out quite a few decimals there, but we have a very accomplished class. We're proud of you all. I would like now to introduce our Pioneer Award winner. She is the one who has been named to represent the qualities that were inaugurated early at the beginning of the school, and she will deliver an address on behalf of the class. Shristi Sharma.
Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Since the day I stepped into this building as a 5-year-old, I've been told countless times, the world is my family. It was repeated so often to me that at a certain point in elementary school, it became almost a cliche. I never stopped to really think about it. But now, as I'm reflecting back on my 13 years at Maharishi School, one point stands out more than any other. The world is my family. When my family first arrived in Fairfield from India, I didn't know any English. It was extremely difficult to communicate with my peers and to assimilate into a new culture. As a 5-year-old, I wanted nothing more than to play Legos with my classmates, but we just didn't understand each other enough to have fun. One day, however, our class was making these beautiful beaded bracelets. And by beautiful, you know what I mean when I say a beautiful kindergartner bracelet. I observantly replicated what they were doing, and I made one of my own. However, at the end of class, when everyone was giggling about some joke or the other, I didn't feel like I could replicate that. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I see two girls from my class walk gingerly towards me, clutching something in their hands, and all I'm thinking is, what do they want from me? One of them tentatively reaches out towards my arm and clasps this most beautiful bracelet I've ever seen onto my wrist, and I really mean beautiful this time. Quickly afterwards, the other girl follows. That afternoon, as I walk to the public library to learn more English by reading books, I grin with happiness, looking down at my two new bracelets and my two new girlfriends. It was only many years later, after I had befriended those and I could speak English fluently, that I learned they wanted to reach out to me and that they didn't know how at that time, so they decided to share something they liked in hopes that I would like it too. This small act of kindness not only transcended language barriers, but it made me feel loved and supported in a foreign nation. Now that I think about it, that bracelet gesture was a perfect example of Maharishi School, its family, and the nourishing community. This is more than just a building, more than an institution, a curriculum, or a school. It's a family. Over the years, just like those girls reached out to me, I reached out to others, kindling new friendships and stoking old ones. Here, I'm extremely grateful to have built my very own family. Recently, I've been meeting future classmates and college friends, and when I tell them that I have only 8 people in my class, their jaws drop in awe. Wow, that must feel so small, they say. For some reason, I always find myself beaming with pride as I say, yeah, we're like a family. A beautiful, crazy, eclectic family. Each one of us is so unique in the way we think, to the things we like to do, to how we interact with the world. Nevertheless, in this salad bowl of diversity, we are held together by the unifying dressing of our values. Thank you for letting me be a part of your family and for becoming such a vital part of mine. Now, as our time together is coming to an end, I'd like to encourage you to go out into the world and extend this family. Extend the branches of your tree, knowing that you are securely rooted to your ethics, your character, and the most important thing this school has taught us, our sense of self. Go out and extend your world family, extend a hand, extend your empathy, extend your mind, and become a global citizen. Every single one of you is a compassionate, contributing citizen of the world, like stated in our motto. And you perfectly represent this school and this family. Class of 2021, let's go connect the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. At this point in the ceremony, it is my privilege to present the candidates for diplomas. Mr. Davis, Dr. Bell, and all of the witnesses and friends who have gathered here today. It is my privilege to report to you that candidates here assembled have qualified in all respects by successfully completing curricula offered by Maharishi Upper School and have been recommended by the faculty and Maharishi School Board of Directors to be awarded diplomas in recognition of their academic accomplishments. At this point, we'd like to ask Jim Davis to please read the text from the diploma.
Thank you. This is quite an honor to be part of this ceremony for each of you graduating. And before I read what's on your diploma, I want to re-emphasize what Srishti Sharma just said about being a family. There is something unique about this school, and in particular, the transcendental meditation technique that you have learned, which not only develops the full mind, but the full heart. And when you leave here, you may not realize now, but over the years that come, you'll find that connection of both hearts and minds that you have with each other. And you'll find ways to connect. I know from all of the alumni in the past that they find that this is something unique that isn't found in any other school. And you don't know it until you leave and experience it later. But Enjoy your family as you travel and do great things. It's now my honor to read what is on your diploma. And another aspect that is unique about Maharishi School, most diplomas that are issued in this country will say the basics. You've completed academic requirements and you now are a graduate of the institution. But the diploma that you receive tonight will reflect what you have done in this place with this time. So when you hang it on the wall, your diploma, or you pull it out of your drawer later on, read these words again. They're a great reminder for the unique experience you've had at Maharishi School. So the text of the 2021 Maharishi School Diploma reads, with completion of your consciousness-based education at Maharishi School, you have attained a unique integrated preparation for life, including college-level academics. Through your pioneering study of consciousness and practice of the Transcendental Meditation technique, you have come to know the full range of life, from its surface diversity to its unity in the simplest state of your own awareness. You have understood that all branches of knowledge and aspects of life share common, universal, underlying principles that are rooted in your own consciousness. You have developed critical thinking, creative problem solving, and have explored the depth and diversity of our world family. You have increased your ability to live 200% of life, 100% inner development together with 100% outer achievement, engaging in dynamic activity while sustaining inner silence. Each day forward, you will draw on the education you have gained at Maharishi School to systematically unfold your full potential and fulfill your goals. As a creative, compassionate, contributing citizen of your community, your nation, and your world. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you, Jim. At this point, I would like to ask Jason Walls, our college counselor, to come to the podium to read the names of the graduates. And I would ask that the candidates for the upper school diploma please rise in preparation to receive your diplomas.
Sage James Senatori. Skylar Anthony Halley. Tony Oliver Lopez. Matthew Kim Park. All right, next group, please rise. Ramil Daval Patel. Shristi Sharma. Budil Bhuvanish Joshua Time. Tran Bui Kyu Ging Jocasta.
Graduates, would like to stand up? Thank you. By the authority vested in me by the Maharishi School Board of Directors, I hereby award you the upper school diploma with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021. Thank you very much. Now, graduates, you step forward a little bit, okay? And we also want to congratulate the new senior class of 2022. It's now your role and responsibility as seniors to inspire and lead the other Maharishi School students to the highest quality of life. We are confident you will do a great job. Please come on forward. Some have already departed. Our representatives. Thank you, guys. So you may be seated for a moment, and we'll just invite everyone to, let's see, we have some light left. And so graduates, stay up here. Yeah, you guys, new seniors, you can be seated. So I think we'll go outside while we can after the last closing here, and we'll have the traditional cap toss. We'll wait until you're outside before we do that, graduates. And so you all can go outside in an orderly way, take your time. We'll get outside, take some pictures, and then please come back in for this beautiful reception that Trish Fenton and our junior class, or senior class, has prepared for all of you for this evening. So thank you once again for being here, and thank you all that are online sharing this experience with our graduates. And we'll just mention that Ralph Gelfin again has been orchestrating all of this online and already had yesterday's performance or yesterday's ceremony recorded. So for those of you families that could not be here tonight, couldn't be online, we will have a recording that'll be available to them very soon. So graduates, hey. Oh, I'm Matthew. This is called the charge. It's the last thing. You've passed every test, you've completed every assignment, you've got your diplomas in hand, but I can't help but give one more psychology reference before we launch you out that door. It's one you're really familiar with, and you are about to explore like you never have before in your life. You know it as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's always shown as a pyramid. So let's climb that together one more time. It starts with satisfying your basic physiological needs. Take with you from this school and community an awareness of the essential importance of a good diet, of adequate sleep, regular exercise, and what you know about your unique body type and your needs to maintain balance in your physiology. With that, you have the foundation for all to follow, right? Second is safety and order. Making good decisions, especially at college, about your activities and your associations. Finding balance again between taking risks and exploring new adventures, and maintaining a sense of order in your life with a regular routine that will reward your self-management. Third is belonging. We heard a lot about that tonight. I have no doubt that you'll find kindred friends, kindred souls in your new school environment, and without losing or leaving the bonds of friendship that you have woven here together. From Maharishi's perspective, the formula for making friends is really simple. It's what Srishti just described in her story from kindergarten. Giving. Give your attention, give your curiosity, give some of your heart. Ironically, you can sustain and grow that capacity to give through your self-referral practices. Fourth is esteem, accomplishment. You already know the pathway there. You've demonstrated it all year long. See the job, do the job, stay out of the misery, right? Don't agonize, organize. The steps you take to meet your responsibilities will deliver you to your goals. Fifth is self-actualization. That's rarefied air for most people, let alone new college students about to encounter entirely new challenges and opportunities. But this institution has uniquely equipped you for this attainment. I want to just mention that this picture behind us is of a tradition of teachers from teacher to student. Student rises to the level of teacher to student, featuring our founder, Maharishi. Given us this opportunity to develop from the inside out, because ultimately self-actualization is not gained from the outside. We see plenty of people who are immensely successful but lack and yearn for self-actualization. And in fact, we see that you're already with that in your centeredness, in your capacity to see different perspectives, in your self-awareness. Lastly, self-transcendence. I suspect that this will be the most unfamiliar to your new acquaintances. It might even seem impractical to them or impossible to attain, but you've already gotten familiar with that silence inside of you, welcoming you home. Establishing your true self, while at the same time connecting you with the entire universe. Pretty cool. You're leaving Maharishi School with everything you need in your self-care toolkit to scale that pyramid, to integrate it into your everyday life. So now is your time to go out and be great yous. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Daller. All right, well done. Okay, we're going to turn on the lights here. You can gracefully move outdoors and take some pictures, and then we'll come back in here for the reception. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Take your time. Oh, there we go. Thank you. We gotta come back every year to do the pronunciation. He's the only person that we have that can speak Chinese and pronounce Asian names. All right.
Happy birthday, Mom. It's my mom's birthday.